Hey everyone, let's jump into our tutorial on input and output in C#. So you can see we have Visual Studio open with our boilerplate code pulled up. This is actually starts off with a good example of output. So we've already talked about this and you should be familiar with this, but this console.writeLine prints out to the console whatever you type in here, or you also pass in variables in between these two parentheses here, this guy and this guy, and you'll be able to, it'll print out whatever you pass in here. So I'm going to print out, what's your name? And, if we hit play here, we should see a console window pop up here, and it should say, what's your name? Yep, and we see, what's your name? Perfect. So let's close this. So let's work with some input. So this is an example right here of output. So let's take a look at some input. So what I'm going to do is I will create a string called name. And we've seen this a million times before. But normally what we do is we'll assign it a value like Pete here. But in this situation, let's just declare the variable. And let's say that name will equal, we'll use the assignment operator there, and we will do console.readLine and finish it off with a semicolon. So what this does is we create, and actually I'll move this input comment, I'll move that over to here, because this is just a variable declaration. This is not actually input. This is where the input is happening. So this console.readLine, which we've actually also seen before, is taking in the user's input and it's storing it in this name variable that we've created up here. So after this input, I'm going to write console.writeLine, and we are going to write out the variable name. And before name, we'll put in another string, and we'll use our plus sign to add this string. We'll say your name is, and it'll combine your name is, the string value here, with our string variable here, which will read in whatever the user writes. And so this is another example of output. So let's run the program now. And we can see what's your name, right? So that's this output here of what's your name. And now we are at the part where we're waiting for the user's input. So we're at this part of the program. And I'm going to write in Peter. And I'm going to hit enter to finish the input. And after I hit enter, it should finish this line. And then we should go to this line here, which is console.writeLine. Your name is, and then it should say Peter. So I'm going to hit enter, and we see your name is Peter. So this is just a quick example of input and output. Before, we saw something where we cast the input variable to an integer, which you can do. But for this example, we're just going to be working with the regular string input. Thanks.